Good morning, everyone. How are you today? I am doing well. I have missed 2 days of doing our Zentangles, although I have done some, but I just didn't do them on video because I was just kind of trying to feel better because I was having a little a pity party for myself. And yeah, that's what I was doing. And so, but today's another day and a new beginning. So we're on number 36. We're on I think, number 36. Let's see, yes. Last one we did was Zinger, which was 35. So Orb Invasion is what we're doing today. And what I'm doing here is I went to a site that is called The Ultimate Pattern Collection, patterncollections.com. And there's a lot of patterns in this group. If you go to visit this I've been using a lot, and some of them that I've already done came from this group originally, but then um, my friend recommended it again. I said, well, I'm just going to go ahead to this one, and we're going to see what I can find on this one to do. Now, we have started learning. We have learned so many already, 35 different patterns, and we can start putting them together. But we're going to, it's amazing how you can take those patterns and start putting them together. And like here, I want to show you these are two that I worked on yesterday, just playing around with different patterns and putting them together and coming up. And this was off of, there's my pen went goofy right there, but this was also on I didn't write down the girl's information, but I'm going to do that and I'll get that to you too. But this is kind of in the future thing. I'm just playing with that right now. So, but it just goes to show you what can happen. This one's completely colored, and they're colored with colored pencil. And this teacher here teaches you how to blend the pencils to make colors. And she actually did this one on a diamond shape, and oh my gosh, it was beautiful. Hers was beautiful. Mine's beautiful too, but it's really beautiful. Okay, so we'll get going here. This is called the Orb Invasion. This one I started, and actually in I don't know if there's supposed to be sound, and I'm just not getting sound, but there's no sound and direction in them. But it's got the step out images. So that's, gosh, when I go like this, it's those ones that I've got done up here are kind of weird. Okay, so actually the way she showed on the step out is to draw these dots, but I just can't do them dots and get them in any kind of a orderly fashion. So I'm taking, what I did is I got my bone folder here, and it's flat on both, straight on both sides, and pretty good of width. So I'm using pencil. I'm just going to make a grid. And that's what I did starting this one, is I just made a grid with my pencil. And then when I got this far, or almost this far, I erased the pencil lines. But the pencil lines just give me a more of a even grid. Okay, so see, I got I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines, so I got 5 spaces. And then I'm going to do the same way this way. I'm just going to make my lines. So I've got a grid. But like I say, I know you can't hardly see with the pencil lines, the grid, but see, then you erase the grid. I'm going to erase the grid with my eraser when I'm done. I like this kind of the white erasers. I'm not sure what they call, some kind of rubber eraser. But so you can see I've got the grid up there with my pencil lines. So now what I'm going to go do is I am going to put some orbs. I'm going to just draw some orbs here and there on my paper. I'm going to just draw some circles, some orbs. And you know what? I was on another group yesterday looking at some Zentangle, and they call those orbs even something different. So I guess where you're coming from, where you're learning from, they can be called different things. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my Sharpie on this one, and then I'm just gonna put them here and there on here. Like I'm gonna put one up here. I'll go here with one. I'll go down here with one, and I'm putting them over the lines. And I'm just going to kind of get them here and there. Okay? Is that enough? And maybe I'm going to put one up here. Oh, maybe I didn't. Yeah, that's okay to have that one up there. Okay. Yeah, that'll be fine. Well, we're going to see what happens with that. Okay, so some of the... I'll put one there. Okay, so that's my orbs. Now I'm going to use my number 5. I wonder if I want a finer one than that. I think I might... Let's see what we have here. I'm still learning how to use these pens. Okay, that's a 5. Maybe I want a 3. The 3 is a little bit... That's the 005. That's real small. That's the 08. Just let me find it here. 02. Maybe I'll use the 2. We're going to see what happens with the 2. Okay, so it's a very fine line. Stay up there. Okay, now put that back in. Put that back in there. Okay, I keep my little cheat sheet in there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I want a square drawn with the permanent marker with whatever you're using. I got the microns here, but if you're just using the Sharpie, that's fine too. You know what I think I'm going to do? I am going to use the Sharpie for the first square. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line, and I'm going to go down each edge of the squares. Okay, let me see if I can get you up a little closer. Actually, you know what, I really... And do you see how I'm jumping over that pencil line? I'm jumping over the pencil line, but coming close to the pencil line. And then I'm going to do that. Okay, now here on this one, now the orb is in my way. So I'm going to go around the orb and go to the pencil line. Then I'll start around the orb, go to the pencil line, and then don't right on the pencil line. Okay, and just follow that line and go all the way, finish it up. Then you're going on the opposite side of the pencil line, and you will go the same way. And you're just going to follow those pencil lines. Don't draw over them. You hop over them. We're going to erase them things anyway. Okay, see, so now I've got 2 sets of lines. See, parallel lines all the way down with the pencil line in the middle. Okay, and then we're going to go this one. Here's an orb. Go around that orb. Don't be touching that orb. You get zapped. You get zapped, and off to Mars you go with the aliens. Okay, we don't want to go there. And this is going to be my first finished one here once I finish this. So we are learning this together. Okay, and here I'm doing the same thing, going, oh, there's an orb, go around it, go around it. Okay, and then go on. See there, and so we're going to go again and finish those. And you don't have to make this many squares. You don't have to make this size of squares. You can do whatever. And I think by doing this with the pencil lines first that you can erase is a lot easier than trying to, for me anyway, than trying to get little dots to follow and getting them straight. And then, so I don't do the dots. Okay. Let's see, go around that orb when you see the orb. Okay, and then here on this side, no orbs are going to be in my way, so I can fly down here 65 miles an hour. Make my line, jump over them pencil lines, and then I'll go on the other one. Actually, I didn't need to go on this side, but I'm making mine to where it just runs off of the edge. But if you don't, actually this side it won't run off the edge because there's only room for one pencil line. This one will run off the edge. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it, and then I'm going to make each one of these are now going to turn into a square because I'm going to meet these lines, this and this. See, so now it's a square, but a hump there where that orb is. And so this is where I finish up making the squares. Oh, going around the orb. Yep. And finish up the squares. This one I got going off, so I'll just go like that. Okay, and then here, finish up my square. And around the orb. Around the orb. Here's an orb. We gotta go around. And this one I'm going to play with more too, making larger orbs and things and see what happens. And so here you can choose how many orbs you want and what size you want them. And I'm doing mine on the envelope because then I can use this envelope to actually send somebody something, or Happy Meal or something, and it'll have artwork already on it. I like to do that. Since I started decorating envelopes, man, if I have just an envelope to go with no decoration on it, makes me feel like it's unfinished, even if I'm sending it off to the power company. I put little doodles on it somewhere. Okay, now at this point, now you have all of your squares in. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to erase all of my pencil lines. I don't want them there anymore. I don't need them, and I don't want them, and they erase nicely. I use this type of eraser. What is that called anyway? It's a high polymer eraser by Pentel. Those are the kinds I like. Last time I bought these, I bought a box of 10. I figured I can lose 9 of them and still have one. Because I lose things. I don't know if you lose things. You all might not know what that all is, but I lose things. So I bought 10 so that I always have my eraser, because I'd say, where in the world is my eraser? And I usually find them, but now I have plenty. So gotta get my eraser dust off of here. But then some people use a kneaded eraser and they like them the best. So it's whatever you decide you like. And so there we go. I've got that part done. Now is when we start finishing off the squares. And you can go and do like all the outside squares and then go in. But now I'm gonna do each square. And I'm gonna use my finer pen now. What I'm gonna do is just aura the inside of the square. And where there is a orb invading my space, I aura that orb shape. See there? So that one's going to be like this. I really do highly recommend these Micron pens, and there might be some in a different brand as well, but the tip is so fine. I mean, you get them in the different sizes, the tips, the nibs on the end. And especially when you're going into a smaller space, then having a finer nib really makes a difference in your finished art piece or your finished Zentangle. And see there how those two are finished. And you're just following, you're just auraing those shapes until you get them all done. That one turned into really neat shape right there because I have two orbs invading my space here. So I got to go around them orbs. But then here now I've come up to my very first absolute square that doesn't have any orb invasion. So now I'm going to aura that one inside until I get to the middle. And they have different, each one has probably different amount of actual aura lines in them. You don't have to be exactly the same, like 4 lines in each one. No, you just kind of just keep going until you run out of space. And here I have another square. Mm-hmm. 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 Look how cool that's looking. I think I like this. This is fun. And I can see where this one would be a lot of fun to do in a irregular space. I think this would be a lot of fun. I'm going to make myself a little all I know to do is call it a cheat sheet, but just with little squares, a whole sheet, and just a small um, image of each one of these tangles on each one, so that when I'm just sitting and coming up with my own collage of Zentangles, I can look at my sheet to kind of just jog my memory of the different tangles. Because now, like, whenever I was listening to this lady that was instructing how to do these, she had a name for each one of these. And I know there's a name for each one of them, but I don't remember them well, and it's easier than looking through my whole book to find what what might work in the area I'm working in. So I thought that's going to be a good idea to make my little cheat sheet. So I'll show you that when I get that finished up. What I might be able to do is when I get that finished up, I may be able to even run copies of it. I probably shouldn't even be talking about it because you probably think I've done lost my noodle. So, but yeah, I want to just so I can have a one sheet reminder here with me to give me ideas of what I want to do next when I'm doing the whole Zentangle collage and not just one tangle. But it was a lot of fun doing those two that I did that were colored. That we did the coloring, and it really makes me realize that I do want to do a lot with the coloring, with coloring each one of the elements that's put in, because that really has a very pretty outcome. My squares aren't real square here. And see, and here I was just thinking too, as I was doing this, that you could even do in each one of these squares with a Zentangle. Like I was, the one I'm thinking of, I can't think of the name of it right now, but because my lines were crooked here, that made me think of that other Zentangle that might be fun to do. Just like this with the orbs invading, you can actually have orbs invading almost anything and just work around those invading orbs. So while you're doing something like this and you do get into that kind of meditative mode, you'll also, ideas will just pop up in your head of what you can do. And when those ideas pop in, go ahead and even if it's on a piece of scratch paper, draw it out so you don't forget it. And so, okay, so now there I have, oh, wait a minute, I want to go, I did this one up here, which is popped off of the square. Okay, so I'm not sure what we should do with that one, unless I make another square above that one. I can do that if I want to. But there might have been something I could do with that even without putting the square above it. But then I feel like I need a square here too then. And of course now these ones will not be as symmetrical as the others. But they're squares nonetheless. Or rectangles or four-sided elements, whatever we want to call them. So maybe you shouldn't put any on the very edge, but maybe you should. Oh, especially if you're doing a collage of different things and you have one on the edge, then yeah, then I think, yeah, then it would be like correcto mundo. It would be beautiful. Okay, now, what do you think about that so far? Is it, when I look at my screen, it looks like the whole thing is just wiggling. Okay, now, let me see if she gives us an idea here of, oh, here she gives us an idea for shading. Oops, here, how, I don't know how to use this thing very much. Here she gives us an idea for shading, but here she also gives an idea. Oh, now this one here, I'm looking at this one, and this one here, she has only, where I've got quite a few lines here, she's got only 3 auras inside. The outside aura she left dark, she colored in with a fill, and the inside aura she has just shaded. The inside aura is shaded, and the outside aura is blacked in. So she only went to the original square, and then 1, 2 auras inside. So that's another. Now this one here, though, she has multiple auras in there, but she did shading. So it's lighter around the aura, and then the darker areas is where farther away from the aura. So that's pretty. I think I'd like, and then each one of her orbs she's got shaded too. So that's interesting. So I'm going to, let's see. I think I'm going to go ahead and shade. I'm using my pencil to shade each of the auras, and I'm shading them all on the one side. Now I'm on just on the left side of the orb. If I say the wrong words in here and there, understand that I'm sorry. Okay, so, and then now away from, like in here, there's orbs around here. So here I'm going to go and just do a little bit of scribbling, which is my shading. And I'm going to kind of go, and then I'm going to go up just a little bit between them. There's quite a bit of space here without orbs. And so then I'm going to go kind of over here where there's none. I'm not getting any of the shading near the orbs. I'm avoiding the orb area. I'm not getting into their area. I don't want them to. Now, of course, you'd probably take your time shading. I'm kind of rushing through this just to give you an idea. Now here, pretty darker, a lot more shading over here because we're not anywhere near them orbs. And so, but that makes it look like the orbs are almost causing an electrical something. And see what I'm doing there is I'm just getting that shading. Okay, but then I'll get my my blending stump. Sure I will. Sure I'll get my blending stump here. I will really get that. I will really. Here we go. Okay. You know what? I might want a fatter stump. Fatter. I got some fat stumps up here in this stump box. You can get fat stumps. Look at this one. That's one big honking stump right there. Okay, now. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to be blending in my blending. I'm going to go ahead and blend. And so it kind of, as you can see, it just really looks shadowed. Okay, and I may even want to try this later on with some color. Like maybe I would want to do the shading, the shadowing in like a blue, almost a sky, like a sky. Well, I'm getting, by doing the blending, okay, so that is kind of getting that shading, but in my little orbs, I'm going to just use the smaller stump, and I'm just kind of going around the outside, and it kind of leaves the inside a really light space of each one. And I like this. I like this. Of course, I really should have used a softer pencil for the shading, and then it would blend better. Some use just even a piece of charcoal, you know, a charcoal that's all just charcoal. Okay, see, actually it's blending better with this smaller one. I'm getting the lines from the back of the envelope. That's okay though. I don't mind. I don't mind. Don't mind the I don't think the receiver will mind either. But anyway, that's it. That is what we call the Orb Invasion. And this one was found on the patterncollection.com. And this is, like I said, an envelope that I put this on. And it's pretty. It's beautiful. I think it's just amazing. And what this one is going to look so good in an area. Like if you're doing like this one here, like if I did just this area I'm going to show you all how I did this one time, but the video is going to be like an hour and a half long. This took a while to do, but I think I could do it quicker than that. But I mean, once you color them all in like that, I think that is so beautiful, just so beautiful. This one, and this one, it looked so confusing, and it wasn't. As I followed the girl that taught it, um, I'll try and find that in my history, and then put it in the description below so you can even look up this girl who does this. But oh my gosh, it's beautiful. But like I say, once you start doing where you're making a string and you're filling each section up with something different, this is going to really pop. This one here is going to really pop. So you're going to just love that. You're going to love it. I tell you, I can see into the future. And I know you're going to love it. Okay, so I'm going to read you a little poem about someone cares, because someone always does care. Let's see. Okay. Okay, this one says, we can't, but God can. Okay. Why things happen as they do, we do not always know. And we can always fathom why our spirits sink so low. Oh, we cannot. Let me start that over, because I just got my tongue wrapped around my teeth and I couldn't see what I was saying. Okay. Why things happen as they do, we do not always know. And we cannot always fathom why our spirits sink so low. We flounder in our dark distress. We are wavering and unstable. But when we're most inadequate, by Lord God's always able, the Lord God's always able. For though we are incapable, God's powerful and great, and there's no darkness of the mind that God can't penetrate. And all that is required of us whenever things go wrong is to trust in God implicitly with a faith that's deep and strong. And while he may not instantly unravel all the strands of the tangled thoughts that trouble us, he completely understands. And in his name, if we have faith, he will gradually restore the brightness to our spirit that we've been longing for. So remember, there's no cloud too dark for God's light to penetrate, if we keep on believing and have faith enough to wait. That's amazing. This makes me wonder about this lady that wrote all of these, Helen Steiner Rice. She must have been such a calm and happy person. I just feel like she was, to be able to write these beautiful poems for us. Okay, I ask God to watch over you every step you take, every move you make. And I will see you back, excuse me, on the next video. God bless and stay safe.